Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am V.21. Today in video 8 I'll be going over some stuff that a subscriber gave me an idea for. They asked me to build a supersonic fighter, and that sounded like a great idea, and I started going through my mind about what I could build, and I was like, well, supersonic fighter obviously needs weapons, missiles, bombs, and I figured, well, why don't I take it a step further and make a fighter that's capable of going from surface to orbit to orbit to surface, kind of like a true space fighter, I guess you can say. Alright, let's go get started. Now, as you can see here, these are the weapons I've been working on. This large one is still experimental. I don't have it available for any spacecraft or fighters or anything. However, this light missile right here works pretty good. And this is basically for air-to-air combat. It's light, it's fast, it stays relatively straight. So if you can get up behind an aircraft and launch this thing, and aim properly, I guess you could say, you could do some good damage. This one right here is a heavy missile. It's meant for more ground-based targets, obviously. Everything from buildings to tanks. I guess you could try to fire it at air targets, but you know, good luck. It's a little on the slow side, but for what it lacks in speed, it has two I-beams here. It smashes through a lot of components before it finally gives up. And of course, let me show you this weapon testing platform I got going on here. It's like a downrange thingamajig. There goes my computer about to explode on me again. And there's 4 walls over here. I don't know if you can see it. You got the steel plates, and you got the wings, you got another steel plates, you got the wings. Just to see penetration and destruction and, you know, overall performance of the weapons. Okay, let's go ahead and launch this and see how it goes. Now, I have been working on a tank. It doesn't have any firing or shooting capabilities just yet, but the chassis is pretty much almost finished, and it looks and operates really nice. I like it. Even has a cockpit. The X2 is coming along great. A few minor bugs here and there, but I think the X2 might actually be able to get into orbit with a full payload of 100 tons. We'll see. Now, at the end of this video, I'll be sharing some pictures of my adventures throughout my KSP experience from version 19 all the way up. And you don't have to stay if you don't want to look at them with me. I appreciate you checking this out. You know, it's boring stuff anyway, so yeah, you know. Let's go ahead and just fire this thing. Screw it. This is the light missile, test 1, firing. You can see it starts going level. There's not enough space here to allow it to stay level, but as soon as it drops because of the weight, it starts leveling out and maintaining a straight beeline, in which case it went completely underneath here. But as you can see, even though it bypassed these steel plates, which it doesn't penetrate, I've already tried, it just bounces off of them. It will go through a number of these winglets before it finally stops. And in this case, it went through both of them, both of these sheets, and kept on going. So yeah, I used the I-beams obviously because the impact tolerance is of 80. So it'll keep on going and going and going unless it slams into the object hard enough to destroy the actual I-beam itself. Here is the heavy missile, and let's go ahead and fire. Now, I don't know if you caught that, but for some reason, I haven't figured out what, sometimes these missiles, however you like to pronounce that. Sometimes they actually go through this steel plating. I have no idea why. I guess it's a bug. I can't put my finger on it, but sometimes it goes right through. Like if it doesn't, it's like if it's not even there. So yeah, still pretty good missile. And of course the experimental, you know, destroy your entire space center bomb/missile thingamajig. And for this one we're going to have to throttle up because it does use liquid fuel. Yeah, let's get a good. Well, I'll try to get this. That's good. And 3, 2, 1, firing. Oh yes, love it. Now, as you can see, this weapon, after the smoke clears, this weapon is pretty powerful. It can go through the steel plate, which is hard to get through since these steel plates have an impact tolerance of 80. If you want to armor something up, throw these on there. You'll get pretty good armor. It went through the steel plate and then had even enough pieces, I guess, going fast enough to blow through this right here. These wing parts right here. These, of course, have a small impact tolerance, so I like to think of these as like structure components, whatever that might be. Batteries, engines, solar panels, whatever. Alright, that concludes our weapon test. Let me go ahead and show you the experimental fighter that we got going on here. I'll go through some of the weapon systems. 2 of them you've already seen. Where are you? There you go. Yeah, I know it's a kooky name, but it sounded cool at the time. There it is. Now, basically what it is I just grabbed a SSTO that I already know, that already works. And I placed these 2 wings on the side for more lift, and I put these 2 winglets right here, kind of a diagonal, for more stability and control, because it is carrying. Let me see if I can grab this and hold down shift, scroll mouse wheel, show you. It's carrying a lot of missiles. That's a lot of missiles. Yeah. In front we got the 4 light missiles for air-to-air. We got the heavier missiles for air-to-ground. And then these, I didn't demonstrate these. These are actually a type of bomb. Now I know you're looking at it like, bomb? Excuse me, what? Well, think about it this way. These things weigh half a ton each. So if you're traveling at over 100 meters per second and this thing comes flying through your windshield or your house, it's going to do some serious damage. Now I've made it so you can actually do 1 or 2 things. You can do surgical strikes. What it does, it releases both of them, one, and then you fly to a target and you release the second one, and then you release the third one. Or you can just do like a carpet bomb and release all of them kind of simultaneously or as fast as the program will let you. Do 1, 2, 3, and it'll just kind of fall in front of behind the spacecraft and boom, boom, boom. Yeah, well, you get the idea. And of course, safety is key. If you ever get shot down, you've got parachutes on the cockpit as well as the back here, which I've used many times actually. I've got a target waiting out there right now, and sometimes I'll fly up to it and try to hit it with these missiles, and I'll accidentally clip it, and these parachutes will save the pilot that's inside. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. That's enough of me blabbing. Save and launch. Let's see if I can actually hit something this time. This will be like my 7th or 8th flight, test flight with this particular craft. Here we go. Okay. As you could tell, it's very heavy. It takes, let me see, we're going to use the rockets to help assist it to get up off the ground. About 80 meters per second, and it'll start getting some lift. So let's turn engines up and spacebar. There we go. Rocket engines off, gears up. Now it's relatively, easy to control. It's heavy, and unfortunately, I guess I got a huge target up in front of, on the launch pad. Come on. Even though she's really, really heavy, she's still easy to control. So let's do this. Let's do like a carpet bomb effect. Turn the SAS on. And point the nose up a little bit and release. Release. Come on. And release. What does that do? Oh, boom, boom, boom. Nice. Actually, let's leave this off. I don't really need it. Alright, SAS off. Now we got the light missiles. They're ready to go. It's pretty cool. It's got a whole bunch of missiles underneath. Even though it's weighed very heavily, you can actually take the whole payload up into orbit. Now, don't get me wrong, you only have a little less than half a tank left, but you can get into orbit, which is pretty cool. Alright. Let's see if I can actually hit it this time without crashing. And Fox 1. Fox 2. Pull up, 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 pull up. Oh yeah. Boom. Thank you. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Just takes practice. And not crashing into buildings. Now we're doing some serious destruction, and we still got, what, 6 missiles left? 2 lights, 4 heavies. All stock parts. I mean, in essence, I guess you don't... they're not your typical explosive missiles. They're sort of the equivalent of getting a telephone pole and putting a rocket to it. Or in this case, an I-beam. Like spears on steroids. Alright, let's see if I can get it this time. I'm gonna try the long-range version. And fire. And fire. No, that one just Yeah, I don't think so. Nope. Obviously, the long-range ability of those missiles are somewhat to be desired. Alright, got 4 heavies. I am going to see if I can't shorten this little trial. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that one fires, and this one fires. So let's go ahead and put all these in the same action or stage group. Right now I'm basically, to steer this craft, I'm just using the QE, the Q and E keys, and holding down the S right now, the S key. Alright, and now I'm tapping the S key to try to keep my plane somewhat pointed in that direction while the orbital doohickey corrects itself. Alright, here we go. Coming up on target. Let me use the SAS this time. Bring the nose up. And fire. Oh, freeze on me. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, one went right through. Okay. Either it found a hole or that was another physics glitch. Turning off SAS. And we got 2 more missiles. Now, if you're curious as to, oh, can this thing really go into orbit with its full payload? I will be doing a video of that, just not right now. I'm trying to keep this video under 25 minutes if I can. But this chassis of this SSTO can make it into orbit using very little fuel. And you can actually build one. I'll show you how to build one in my very first video, video 1. Now you'll have to forgive me because in video 1 I am extremely tired. It's like 2 o'clock at night and I have to work in the morning, so I'm mumbling and it's my very first video, and yeah, I got all the very first video person mistakes, and that's not gonna work. Fire 1. SAS off. Oh crap. Rockets. Burn away, burn away. Whoa, that was close. Now screw it, let me try to hit that little truck that's down there. I put a little truck down here for time dilation kind of thing going on. Yeah, fire. That's not gonna hit. No way, no way. Yeah, I figured. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And let me demonstrate to you how the parachute system works. Let's say you get hit on the wing or crash on the side. Not saying I know how that happens, but okay, so you're coming down. You're you know, head cruising for a bruising, and I've got the action group here. You just hit 0 and voila. You're all by your lonesome in your small little pod. And hopefully that doesn't come back around to bite my ass. But yeah, got a parachute system and everything. Alright, awesome. Let's go ahead and show you the tank real fast. Or not, of course it's not completed, but we can drive it around. I can show you how it's going. And yeah, we don't have a fancy name for it just yet. There it is. Humble beginnings. Underneath it's got a buttload of batteries to keep it charged. Even has a probe body, so you don't need a pilot if you really don't want one. It's got a generator on it, so it can generate power. I'll probably put more of those on there, but it's just got a tons of batteries right now. You don't really have to worry about running out of power anytime soon. And I will actually take this, because you can't see out the cockpit with this here. And let me see here, I'm going to see if I can't take this, put it right there, take angular snap off and actually bring it down. And take this and bring it up. Just up. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's good. That might work. That might work. I don't know. Hard to say. Now, just to show you that I am not cheating, Alt 12. As you can tell, allow part clipping is off. There you go. Let's go ahead and save and test. You know what? That big huge bunker buster missile, I could put like 2 of those on that sucker. But you can't put all your eggs in one basket, so you'd have to have different tanks with different turrets. So you'd have your big nasty ones with those kind of weapons on them, and then you have your other ones that kind of dive into the action and start shooting things up with their missiles. So you'd have, like, I don't know, maybe 8 missiles on one side, 8 missiles on the other side, maybe a bunker buster in the middle. Whatever works. Okay. And as you can tell, it's fairly maneuverable. It's got great traction. It does want to flip over, of course. Anything wants to flip over when you're turning the corner at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Going up a hill quickly. Whoa! Yeah, we got some air on that one. So you can imagine the turret on this thing. And of course I'll put something in front to protect its nose. That way it can push things aside. Other vehicles or whatnot. Let's check out the cockpit view here in a second. Damn, you get some air on that thing. Whoa. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out. That's pretty cool. Alright, cockpit view. Oh, cool, it worked. Whoa. It looks like the cockpit still wants to bounce up and down, because I'm going to have to put more struts on the thing. Alright, coming up on that corner there, or that ramp. And, whoa, airtime! And boom, oh, on the ground. And boom. Oh yeah, I'm going to have some fun with this when I get it working. Oh, yes sir. Yes sir. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see, what else was I going to show you? I think that's it for now. Well, thank you for watching, and I will be showing you the pictures without this music, because I absolutely hate this music. Are you sure there's not something else I could show you? I've got a ton of stuff here, but that's for many, many videos down the road. Star Dragon, tank, weapon platform, blah 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 blah. Okay. For those of you who don't want to go through this very boring 2 or 3 minute thing that I got for you, that's absolutely fine. I understand completely. Ah, the sweet sound of birds. Okay, let us begin. No, actually, no. We'll have some space music. See here. Oh. For those of you who are still here, this is a target. Duh. I will be flying that fighter craft into orbit in one of my videos coming up, and seeing if I can't destroy this target. Now this target's a very, very large looking Ssto. I got it up here using cheats, of course, because of its size and just impractical design. You can't really get it up there without using cheats. There it is. Basically all I did was, let's see if we can peer inside. Because it was meant to be blown up or destroyed, I just went ahead and put like a ton of SAS modules on here, giving it plenty of control, since these do stack. Their control capability stacks. So I put like, I don't know, maybe 8 or so. That way it can do maneuvers without needing winglets or RCS or anything like that. Then I just put infinite fuel on and launched it from the launch pad. Put it in orbit and then boop, done. Okay, now you can shoot at something. So I'm going to bring the, yes, I'll say it, Star Wolf. I'll bring the Star Wolf in, close in on the target, and then I will do some dogfighting maneuvers. I really don't like it. Well, I've seen other videos where they stay still, like way out here. Okay, I got the target, and let me fire. Boom, boom. You know, they're standing still. This is standing still. Whoopee. No, 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 no. We're going to do better than that. I'm going to be flying around the target and firing at it, and doing loop-de-loops and all this other cool stuff. You know, like a space fight should be. Well, anyway. Let me go ahead and show you some of these pictures. And take you on a little story ride through time. Preview. There we go. Yay! Isn't this great? Half of you are already asleep. I know it. All right, Kerbal Space Program. This was going to be the actual thing I was going to show you in the very beginning of the film. This is version 19, obviously. Well, not obviously. This was my very first logo. Sucked. Second logo. Third logo, and of course the other one that you already know. Here's one of my first satellites in version 19. And this bad boy was also in version 19. Got it all the way to, oh, I forgot what that planet was. It's around Jewel. Took forever to build in orbit, I tell you that. It's made out of like 5-6 different launches, but yeah, it was actually pretty cool. Older Ssto version, and that's version 20, and that's boring. And lander on the moon, scared to death. Kerbal. This is a very large Ssto, version 19. That's version 20. Version 20. I think that's 19. As you can see, this is It's not the stock. I changed the fuel tanks a little bit. Yep, cool. Yeah, that's cool. And the reason why I got 3 of those guys up here is because this mod right here is like a little passenger fuselage. I wish KSP would come up with a passenger fuselage. That'd be nice. There's the old SSTO. It didn't use jet engines to get up there. It was pretty much just a rocket with wings. And that's a spacecraft capable of lunar flight or lunar travel. Couldn't really go to any other planet, just the Kerbin moons. Of course, here's the payload that it carried up there. That's a very old SSTO. That's another one, that's another one. And of course, my visit to that desert pyramid place. That's the payload being launched. Yeah, boring. That's that little, that's a mod, of course. And, yep. Cool. Awesome. Sweet. That's another mod. There we go. Yep. Cool. Awesome. That's a nice picture. And put the flag there, yep. And driving up there. There's the space station in version 19. That's the lunar spaceship docked with it. I think it just came back from the lunar station. Now this was version 20. I was checking out the Whack-A-Kerbal. I was having fun with it, blowing this thing up, giving it infinite fuel, you know, doing crazy stuff with it. There it is again. Space station. There's again. And there's that thing was huge, I tell you what. Actually, it was less parts than the SSTOs that I'm working on now, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try to bring it back. It was a good little heavy lifter, that's for sure. Did a good job, even though it's not really a true SSTO. It doesn't use the atmosphere at all. Here's an older version of the SSTO. It's got 3 jet engines, 2 rockets. Ooh, there she is. That's a nice picture. Big, huge wingspan. Plenty of fuel to get her up there. Yep. Cool. That's the crew manifest. That's the lunar station. I think I was selecting Kerbals to go into one of these space ships that are docked on the side. That's the older SSTO. It was putting a little satellite into orbit, as you can see here. The sun. Nice. Of course, I only got there because I used infinite fuel. That's the lunar station again. Oh, cool. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. That is a really neat design, you know. I'm going to see if I can't make something similar without using cheats. There's a little satellite on the back of this SSTO. This is a very old SSTO. I actually have a video of it on YouTube. I think I named it something like large payload or something of that nature. Uses a nuclear engine to get itself into orbit, uses rockets on the side to get into space, and of course uses the jet engines to get as far up into the atmosphere as possible. This is before I started testing multiple air intakes. As you can see, it only has 3 air intakes. That's Eve. Had a little outpost thing going on. There she is. Whoa. There it is. This is a much older version, actually. It couldn't really bring any payloads into space. It was just meant for Kerbal transportation. Yep, the Aim True X-33. I think I'll I think I might make a video of all the old planes that I've built in the past. And release the satellite into orbit. This is before I went to no mod phase. This mod is a remote tech, a little satellite dish. Everything else is stock. Everything in here is stock. Of course that's not stock. And as you can see, I got a half a plane left. I forget what happened there. I think something bad happened. Duh. And the parachutes brought it down. Ah! This is while playing around with that laser system mod. You can actually use the docking ports as like video cameras. That was really cool. This is Duna, obviously. And that is a really sad attempt on a space plane that can get into orbit with small little rockets on the side. This is the horrible attempt, I should say, before I finally put it together and was able to create the first Ssto that can get into space without using rockets. Oh, there's not Duna. What am I saying? What the heck? Minmus. Minmus. My apologies. Duna. Yeah, right. Oh, there's a I was trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. This is before the big red one. It's kind of like the link between the two. I was playing around with it. That's pretty cool. Ah, yep, I remember her. It could actually transport 4 of these fuel tanks anywhere around Minmus and the moon. Couldn't make it to Duna or any of the inner planets, unfortunately. Just not enough thrust and fuel, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe I was just doing it wrong. More than likely I was just doing it wrong. Here's one of my earlier moon base attempts. The only mods in this thing are of course the remote tech satellite dishes and these two, I forget what they called, habitat baskets or something. They look like this and then you can inflate them, which is, I believe NASA is really looking at building inflatable habitats. They're really cool, actually. They sound really cool. Early Ssto. And that's the same ship I told you about on the backside. And of course, this is the habitat on Kerbin. And this is not your Kerbin base. That was that secret base that people were finding left and right. Of course, the old Ssto. That's an old moon base. Very old. For some reason in version 19, every time you jump back to your base on the moon, I don't know if you guys had that problem, but it'd like to explode on you because it would load under the ground, and these poor little solar panels would break. It's just bad. It was bad, glitchy as hell. It's a nice view. That's the side view of that spacecraft I was talking to you about. Ah, there's the North Pole base. That was around satellite around the moon. North Pole base. Another satellite around the moon. Moon base. That was pretty cool. Had the whole stars and everything going on. Oh, this is my failed attempt of creating a missile. Trying to aim it at the ship that I recently showed you they could go to the moons and everything. Kept on missing. Basically, the idea behind this missile was I'd come up to it and I'd release all these separation trons or whatever, and it would act like a shotgun effect, but didn't go too well. Mainly pilot error. Yep, couldn't fly that thing worth a fuck. This one's actually version, no, it's version 20, yeah. All of it is stock except for, of course, the dishes and this inflatable and habitat. There's my first attempt at a smaller SSTO. It could get into orbit. There it is. Yep. I still have it. It's a very old SSTO. It can get into orbit, but you have like a pinch of fuel left. You know, typical SSTO stuff. The only mod it has is this fuselage right here. It carries 2 extra Kerbals, or Kerbals, excuse me. I took a picture of this because the eclipse that was going on. I thought that was pretty cool. And some more of the North Pole expedition base. This was actually really cool. I forget how I got it there. I think I used this is version 19, I believe. I got it all the way to Joule. I forget how I got it there, because I know, oh that's right, I actually sent it with a whole bunch of rockets, and as I got closer to Joule I detached all of them. So yeah, I didn't make it there by itself, but it still made it there. Yep. Oh, this thing, yeah. Experimental, only flew once. Oh, that's another picture. That's really cool. I like that. This thing right here. Only flew once. It did make it into orbit, just barely. I don't think I have any better pictures of it, sadly. There it is again. It's got 6 jet engines on either side. 4 nuclear engines on the sides and 1 large one in the middle. Obviously it'd get up into the high atmosphere. This is before, of course, I started experimenting with the RAM air intakes back to back to back. So it'd only get to about maybe 20,000 feet before I had to activate the rocket. And then after that I activated the nuclear engines to get it into orbit. And it would carry I don't know, maybe about 18 tons. 1 fuel tank on one side, 1 fuel tank on the other. I tried putting a fuel tank on top, but it made it very unstable. So I just have fuel tanks on either side that could detach, or satellites on the side, up to as many as I could fit on the sides. As long as it was equal weight, it could get up there. That actually looks very peaceful. Well, you could just hear the howling of the wind in this beautiful night sky. Well, anyway, there it is again. There she is again. Proof that she can get into orbit. And I believe I was trying to take pictures. Oh, I actually like this little spacecraft. I think I'll rebuild it in 21 once I get there. Very simple spacecraft, get to the moon and back. All stock parts too. That was a little house out in the middle of nowhere. That was my first attempt at building a small little hut-like structure that could be flown anywhere around the world and dropped off like a payload. And this is actually an accident that happened on that moon that's on Jewel. I can't think of it for the life of me right now. It was an accident, and this guy survived. Ain't that something? He was in here when it happened. That's what's remaining of the ancient spacecraft that I first sent to Jewel. I think I have a picture of that spacecraft, actually. It was a big mother, too. There we go. It's actually 2 parts. It connects right here in the back. I think, somewhere up in here. Launched one and then launched the other and put them together and sent it to Jewel. The only mods on this are, of course, the inflatable and this little piece up here. Of course, it ran out of fuel when I was trying to do a burn to get into the orbit. I miscalculated the atmosphere of the planet and started encountering atmosphere way sooner than I anticipated. That's the station on the moon. Has 2 spacecraft attached to it, the big one and the small one, and even a lander, or 2 landers actually. Very busy little moon spaceport or space station. Had a lot going on. Of course, this is from Remote Tech, big giant satellite dish. I actually have a video of this little guy. It was one of the very first videos I put on YouTube. Version 19. There it is again. It was actually quite beautiful. Ah, this one. I remember this one, yeah. That actually got up there and stayed in orbit this time. But it was just wobbly, real wobbly. If I ever build another one of these, I'm going to be using those big giant connectors, because all we had back then was those small ones. There it is on the runway, getting ready for launch. Yeah, he really likes the camera. Of course, that was the colony ship, or attempt at a colony ship. Fast forward through some of these. That was another version of a moon base, kind of smaller. I think that might have been the very first one, to be honest. And this one was the all it did was carry passengers. It was huge. That's the only way I knew how to get Kerbals up there before I started experimenting with smaller SSTOs. But it was hell on earth trying to put a satellite on there. That's when I started experimenting with more than one engine and stuff like that. Until then, it was just for Kerbals. This is version 21. This is the hut. You saw the old one. This is the new upgraded version. Doesn't have any mods whatsoever. This is all stock. That's an older version of that moon spaceship. And here it is, the X1. Yeah. For those of you who have seen my other videos, you already know what the X1 is. It's the prototype to the X2. Hehe, duh. And this is just proof that, yeah, I got it up there. I didn't use any cheats. Already halfway through my fuel. All these little guys working their hearts out to try to get it up there. Because I believe I put a video out there. I think it was video 4 or 3, one of those videos, where all I did was start the video with it already in about to go into orbit. I didn't tape record the takeoff. And that's it, trying to get into space, just trying to get into space. As you can see, I was already at pretty good altitude, pretty good speed, so I only needed to use the rockets for a little while. And of course, this is where I started the video at, right about here. Unfortunately, even though I had 100 tons inside the cargo bay, I'd have to sip fuel from those payloads in order to get up there. So equivalent, you only got maybe about 70 tons into orbit. I was trying to get 100 tons. This is of course just experimental, so I learned a lot from this design. Now there's that docked at the old Kerbal Space Center. And that is it. Thank you so much for being patient enough to go through all that with me. And I will be making another video shortly talking about how the X2 is coming along. And perhaps I'll finish the tank by then. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is Veos signing off.